Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement, here with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, founder of TJ Stearns Inc., a resource for information and updates on your financial investment and retirement planning, and home of the Protect and Grow plan with a common sense approach to planning. Always great to check in with Tim Stearns, CFP, get the pulse on the financial world and help uncomplicate these complex planning choices and decisions. Tim, this year, no exception. Things may even have gotten more complicated, and we are going to talk about some common financial planning myths, mistakes, and missteps, hopefully to help listeners and viewers to the program avoid a few of these. Welcome back in.
Thanks, Peter. It's my pleasure to be here. Once again, the government passed some laws right at the end of the year, when a lot of people were enjoying their time with their family and friends for the holidays. So Secure Act 2.0, a little bit of an update there.
Tim, we call that in the news media world, sweeping it under the rug, right? They do it right during the holidays, so none of us are paying attention.
Well, the irony to me is that people didn't really know a lot about the Secure Act, and now we have the Secure Act 2.0. It's kind of humorous to me that now people who didn't know anything about the Secure Act have to get up to speed on the Secure Act 2.0. So let's get right into it. One of the biggest things it did is that for 2023, it moved us from 72 years old that you had to take your required minimum distribution now to 73. And within the next decade, it will move to actually age 75. A lot of people didn't know about, it moved from 70 and a half to 72. Now it's 73 for this year, 2023. And within 10 years, it'll be up to 75 years old.
And Tim, just to clarify here and emphasize what I think is the most important point of this, if you save your money in tax-deferred retirement accounts, the way most of America has saved for retirement, there is a debt that is owed to the IRS, and if you wait too long to begin paying that, they begin requiring minimum payments due in the form of these RMDs, required minimum distributions, and they are pretty strict about it with rather large penalties if you miss those.
That's right. So you want to make sure that you have, part of your plan is that you're going to have to be taking money out of there. And we'll get into this down the road in this show, but basically, it's not a great way. They want you to spend down that account. They want their tax money now, not rather than later. So that's one of the things. The other, a good thing is that they've actually made it mandatory for automatic 401k enrollment, which is good because a lot of people out there, they kind of wing it, and they're going to live on their Social Security only. We've seen that nowadays, which is very sad. But the onus is this show should be all about the onus is on us, and that is to educate ourselves, to make sure we understand that the government's not coming in to help you. I think most people know that, but people hope for that Hail Mary that maybe they're going to come in with some new, plan for us. Basically, they're saying, make sure you save more because a lot of you out there don't have pensions. But when you do save more down the road, we're going to make you take the money out as well.
Well, the onus is on us, and we can benefit ourselves and go a long way further by avoiding some of these common financial mistakes. Mistake number one, not keeping your plan up to date with current rules, laws, and regulations. We've had two wide, sweeping changes to the rules and laws regarding our investment and retirement planning. Make sure your plan is up to date, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any question on whether it is or not, or want to get better educated on the changes from Secure Act 1 or Secure Act 2.0, then Tim Stearns, CFP, is an excellent resource. And by the way, does not charge for the time to come in and speak with him on an individual basis to run the analysis, the review, and the planning strategy session. That is a complimentary service as an extension of this program. He is a local resource to proactive Chicagoland Land area savers and investors. If you'd like to take advantage of that, anyone with 500,000 or more saved for your retirement, you can take advantage. 800-640-2256 is the number to call. That is 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, we've done another episode on some of the other caveats and rule changes and opportunities presented with the new Secure Act 2.0. So folks can visit the website, tjstearns.com, to listen to that full episode. But bottom line, mistake number one to avoid: not keeping your plan current with updates and changes in rules, laws, and regulations. And then as an extension to that, Tim, is number two, the onus is more on us. And I think that all of this language from the Secure Act giving us more opportunities to contribute higher amounts, and yet remarkably absent was any language about the government improving Social Security solvency. They're really reinforcing and reiterating that we need to be doing more. So mistake number two, not doing as much as we can to prepare for our future.
Well, you see that a lot of the people that are listening to our shows, I've met, a lot of our listeners that come to see us. They're very educated people, but I will say this: they don't know a lot about the nooks and crannies of these different laws that go into effect. Or, I had a gentleman call from the show the other day who said he had heard that all this changes to the 401k, the way it's going to be taxed and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't even true. So there are, rumor mongers out there saying things that aren't true. So why not get the straight scoop? Come see us and we can go over, number one, if you even have a plan. 1 out of 10 Americans do. But when they do have a plan, what this new laws, what they have done to us. And like you said, the burden is on our shoulders to make it a good retirement for you and your spouse. That's number one. Number two, the one thing that they have said very much so since the Secure Act, the first one, is that retirement accounts are for retirement. They're not for generational wealth transfer. They want us to make sure that if the husband and wife pass away, then the IRAs have to be drained within 10 years. A Roth IRA or an IRA or a 401k all have to be drained out within 10 years because they want the tax money. We're spending more and more money and they want to get it back. So it's not a way that we can extrapolate wealth like back when we could do stretch IRAs. Those times are gone. The more important thing is that the burden is on us. We don't have pensions. How are you going to make it through a 30+ year retirement? We are living longer and longer. We need to make that dollar stretch.
Tim, fair enough to say that it's likely that the average listener to your program, a program like this, is a little more prudent saver and investor, a little bit more astute investor, but even so, maybe not in this day to day. So some of those minutia that you're talking about, some of the opportunities, some of the subtle changes in rules and risks and opportunities could reasonably be missed, and therefore missed opportunity means missed financial security down the road. And that's why you dive in and spend your full-time efforts in this field.
Well, think about it. That mistake could also cost you money in taxes too, right? And everyone I meet on this show, anyone who's a listener out there, they don't want to pay more than their fair share. So why not look at some opportunities that are out there to make sure that, you're doing it the right way. Another set of eyes never hurts to get that second opinion as to what your plan is, and what your plan was might have changed.
Mistake number three to avoid, ladies and gentlemen, is not paying attention to the market and economic conditions. Now, Tim, as a certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, your team there of complementary professionals in the estate and the tax world that you work with there at TJ Stearns Inc., you guys pay attention to this stuff. But a lot of times we're caught up in the day-to-day of our lives and our work and may not be paying as close attention to market conditions or outlook as we should, or that would benefit us if we did.
Well, let me give you an example of that. I had a gentleman who was upset that a bond fund that we had him in that had stop losses and that type of thing lost 3.3%. And he said, maybe we should go into corporate bonds. And I said, do you realize that right now the Fed is talking about raising interest rates at least twice more in this year? And anytime they raise interest rates, it's not a if, it's a when. It's going to hurt the bond values of any bonds that are out there. Okay, because there's higher coupons out there that people are would rather buy. So now it puts the bonds that you currently have in jeopardy, for taking a loss. So my point is, the bond aggregate was around, anywhere from 12 to 14%, depending on what kind of bonds. And my point is that if you are looking at the outlook, bonds is a safe place to go. A lot of us think, well, they lost last year, right? They lost more than 3.3%. In fact, like I said, 12 to 14%, depending on it. Then you have the market. It was down about 20%. So where do the outlook, you need to be cautious right now. A lot of people who listen to the show are baby boomers, and what they have when they retire is what they're going to have in retirement. The only growth they'll have is by being wise and having good investments that might have stop losses that are better. They take care of their money now because it could evaporate on them if they're not careful. We are in a whole different situation than we were 5 years ago, or let's even go last year. We had the first 2 weeks of January were decent of 2022, and people thought, the market will go on and on and on up. And then, some cold water in the face, it went down 20%. So we need to look at where you're at, have a plan, make sure that you understand how to keep the money that you've earned over your whole career.
Indeed. And that is the purpose and the goal of having that protect and grow plan in place, the proprietary planning process, the written retirement income plan available there at TJ Stearns, Inc., with the help and assistance of a certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got $500,000 or more saved for your retirement, pick up the phone and take advantage of this exclusive offer to sit down with a certified financial planning professional. No cost, no obligation to map out your protect and grow plan, an analysis of the current holdings that you have in your investment and retirement portfolio, an analysis of the fees that you're paying, the risks that you're taking, the taxes that you may be liable for, identifying strategies for you to control and minimize those items, looking for opportunities to move forward and make better progress, and then mapping out the order of operations in how to most efficiently and effectively create retirement income throughout the decades ahead. So again, no cost, no obligation for that time, optimizing Social Security and addressing the risks, issues, and opportunities into and throughout retirement. 800-640-2256, the number to call. That is 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, as you were mentioning the interest rate environment, that's another of our common financial mistakes, is not paying attention to key rates, including interest rates, including inflation rates, including tax rates.
Well, obviously, interest rates have gone up through the Fed. So that is a good thing for savers out there, right? We have, multi-year guaranteed annuities that are paying out better than they were a year ago by quite a bit. And I know an annuity is a bad word to some people, but to me, it's a guarantee. It's something that you can put in for anywhere from as least amount as like 2 years up to 7 years is what I would look at. But these are rates that have gone up that are guarantees that are better than than CDs for my money, because it grows tax deferred, and you're not realizing the capital gain every time you're redoing a CD year to year. So these are some of the things that we can do with people out there. So interest rates for savers is good. Interest rates for someone who's buying a house or buying a second home down in Florida, like a lot of people in Chicagoland do, or somewhere else that's warmer, those interest rates are pretty bad right now. 30-year, second home is around almost 7%. So these are things that we're well aware of. To have that discussion, give us a call and we'll help you.
Costing a little bit more to snowbird these days, isn't it, Tim?
Absolutely. Yes. It's a higher cost.
and a lot of people looking to potentially make that kind of move, or even if we are not doing the snowbird model, make the most of each and every dollar, pay the least amount in taxes, take the least amount of risk possible. That's what the Protect and Grow written retirement income plan is all about, ladies and gentlemen. You can give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call. Again, if you have at least $500,000 or more saved for your retirement, this is a complimentary service extension of the program that you can take advantage of. No cost, no obligation. Similar reviews and written plans, by the way, can easily go upwards of $1,000 to several thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. But Tim makes his time and the planning process, the written plan, available to you. No cost, no obligation for being a radio show listener and giving a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And Tim, maybe we don't want to start off with the full detailed conversation about every myth, misconception, missed opportunity, or mistake. Maybe we just want to review some material on our own. You've got this fantastic resource of the 7 common financial myths that we make available to listeners of this program, but want to dive into a few of the top ones that unfortunately a lot of people's financial futures rely on.
This is very timely. The market always goes up. That wasn't true last year, and it didn't go in 2008 and
Myth
2000.
busted.
Yes, exactly. It didn't go up in 2000, 2001, 2002. This is the realities. When you have a 13-year bull market, when usually the market corrects after 7 years, every 7 years on average, you need to realize that the market's not always going to go up. That's a myth. And that's what a lot of people thought at the end of 2021. And I've said this before. What do most bull markets die from? And that's, irrational exuberance, or euphoria, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, a reality check, it goes down 20%. Yeah. Now, if I'm worried about whether I'm going to have money to last, then I should have a plan, right? And if I have money to last enough in my plan, then it's okay, right? If I've made a plan, but most people don't have that. So if the market does go down like it did last year, that gives a lot of pause for people. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. I should have done that. Well, come see us. Our plans are dynamic. So when the market does do the gyrations that it did last year, our clients are very comfortable knowing that we've made a plan and that we're going to stick to it. We don't have to sell out of things that are down, which is what I'm seeing a lot of people doing, or they're in fear, just holding on to something that has taken a loss.
Again, if you would like to speak with Tim Stearns, CFP, run that review and the detailed forensic financial analysis on your investment and retirement accounts, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, if we've got a financial projection that is based on an assumption that the market is always going to move up year after year after year consistently, and then it doesn't, then we have a year or two like 2022 or the 2007, 2008, or the 2000 through 2002. Many examples of this in previous history. But if we experience 1, 2, 3 or more periods like that over the course of our retirement timeline, then we end up well off the projection and the assumption that we initially anticipated. And that's why we can't rely on these myths or misconceptions, ladies and gentlemen. You need a plan, not just a projection in place. That's what the Protect and Grow plan is really all about. And again, give a call if you would like to put that in place, or if you would like this list of the 7 common financial myths to go over on your own time. That is completely fine as well. It's a resource that Tim Stearns has made available, has created and offers to you. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Not just that the market's going to go up, Tim, but a lot of projections base a upward movement on a pretty optimistic kind of rate of return. I hear a lot of people talking about, well, the market's going to average 10%. That's not even been near the case over the last 20, 22 years.
Yeah, we have people come in and say, I think I'm going to average, 8, 9, 10%. The market in the last 22 years has averaged less than 5%. We did that. If you remember on a previous show, we talked about that. There was sub 5%. So if you're looking at thinking that your market's going to do 10%, that's, I think, unattainable right now. And I think the next year is going to be very, trials and starts and tribulations again this year. So how do we figure that? Well, when we do a financial plan for somebody, we don't assume much more than at the most 6%. According to the Department of Labor, 6% is aggressive, 5% is moderate, 4% is conservative. We don't let people get, we want to under promise, over perform. And that's what we try to do with people on their plans. And we make sure that they're dynamic. So when the market does take a hit for 20%, we have the ability to pay the bills with other monies that we've set aside for that. A lot of times people will come in here with a proposal that they've received from another company where they're, putting out there, it's going to make, 8-9% every year. The market hasn't done that. And, you're going to have pullbacks. In the last 22 years, we've had over 5 pullbacks, so let's work in reality, working in knowing, KNOW, knowing that you're going to have enough money to pay the bills, even if the market does not cooperate with your plan.
Yeah. And there are, again, Tim, common myth, common mistake and misconception, a lot of financial and retirement projections that since we're assuming a positive rate of return of 8 or 9 or 10% year after year, also show a income cash flow withdrawal rate that is significantly higher than what has been generally accepted to be maintainable. I've seen these and talked to people who said, well, we should be able to pull XYZ amount. Maybe it's 6, 7, 8% cash flow from our portfolio. And that's just not the case. We need to carefully examine those assumptions because our outcome is only as good as the assumptions that our plan is based on.
And that's right. And the 4%, withdrawal rate is very passé. It doesn't work. It's been proven to not work. The person who came up with it doesn't use it anymore. It fails 67% of the time at 4%. So what's it going to do at 6%? It's even worse. The analogy we use in our retirement classes is if I'm a pilot and I say to you, hey, we're going to go to Los Angeles, there's a 67% chance that we're not going to make it there. People laugh and say, I say, would you stay on the plane? And they say, of course not. Well, people are trying that with retirement. The worst thing you want to do is run out of money in retirement and go, gosh, I shouldn't have assumed that. Do not make assumptions that you can't back up.
We need a flight attendant giving a safety speech before retirement.
That's true. I like that. I agree.
There would be certain protocols that I think that could be quickly addressed if we just all had to put our phones down and pay attention to the retirement attendant giving us instructions at the front of the plane. But Tim, this list of common financial myths and misconceptions does continue. It does go on. There are several more on this list that I think are important for all proactive savers and investors, pre-retirees and retirees to consider in their planning. But maybe the most important, you've talked about the importance and the distinction between an investment plan and a specific income plan for retirement. There's right and wrong ways to create and generate retirement income, and the order of operations and how we access and create cash flow is either going to benefit us or work against us significantly into and throughout retirement. Having the plan in place is the differentiating factor.
Yes, having a plan is absolutely essential to a successful retirement. If you don't, you're going to have a lot of drama in your future, and that's what I've noticed is that our classes for retirement are filling up. I taught one the other day. We had over 35 people in there. Because people saw what happened last year and they thought, wow, I better get a clue here. I better understand better. So I would tell people out there, give us a call. We'll get you signed up for one of our classes. We do them every month at the different junior colleges and also Roosevelt University that, people can learn. It costs $40 to sign up for the class, $40 to learn so many different things that you do not know about retirement. What you don't know, as they say, And I just know that people leave the class and they think, oh my gosh, I wish I had attended this 5 years ago. Well, give us a call and attend now.
Absolutely. No better time than now, ladies and gentlemen. And again, the onus is on us, and we need to better educate ourselves, avoid these common myths, misconceptions, missteps, and mistakes in planning for our financial future. We've covered a lot of them on today's program and gone into detail on several of them, some items and subsets of what we need to know and be paying attention to. But if you would like this list of the 7 common financial mistakes, or if you would like to sit down for the complimentary planning, review, and strategy session and your written retirement protect and grow plan, with the help and assistance of a certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP. If you've got at least $500,000 or more saved for your retirement, pick up the phone now and give a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Tim, it is always a pleasure, and it is very helpful to have you on the program, being the resource, giving us this information, bringing it down to our level so that we can make better, more informed decisions with our money.
Thanks, Peter, for having me. It was my pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Again, ladies and gentlemen, pick up the phone now, give Tim Stearns CFP a call, take advantage of this opportunity. Similar plans, the time with a certified financial planning professional can easily be valued at and cost more than $1,000 or several thousands of dollars. But Tim Stearns here is Chicagoland area planners, savers, and proactive investors resource, making his time available to you. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. We'll talk to you next time on Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement.
Tune into Chicagoland Certified Financial Planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.